Hey, happy Monday. I have a great guest with me today. This snowy Monday. A lot of stuff we could talk about. We are just kind of going on. Wow, a lot of history transpired here, not only working together, but Bill's done quite a bit. So we're going to have Bil Vorndick on in just a minute. But first, I wanted to show you here, if you were watching the live stream concerts that we did the last couple days, this was our screen here, formerly our bed sheet, and it was strung across what's the front hallway here. So this is the behind the scenes, the backstage. And we just got announced another show in March. So it's, if you still want to get a season pass, the season pass comes with a half pound of fudge mailed to your house from my aunt and uncle's shop. So I know that I've heard some nice comments from people who've gotten it so far. So great. It's wonderful stuff. So it's before I introduce Bill and we get into that, I just wanted to say it's been a snowy day here. We're in Nashville, and I know there's snow a lot of places, and be careful driving, or try not to. I know it's kind of glare ice out where we are. So since Monday Lives are not a performance, we're just kind of have fun. We say hello. I get to say hello to great friends like Bill, and to you. Be sure to text in, say hey to us, and play a couple of tunes, maybe something new or something that I haven't played for a while. And this is not a Christmas tune. This is a winter tune. This is a snow tune. So we just have to do this today. Welcome, Bil Vorndick.
Hello.
So, hey, Bill, you were my first engineer when I came to Nashville for the very first time.
Right.
You and Bruce Dees, who you were working together with at that time.
Exactly. We had a studio on the road.
Yeah. So that was exciting for me to be able to, record on Music Row. A girl from Chicago coming to Nashville and gets to record with you on Music Row. And
the studio was called Music Row Audio.
Yeah, that's right. And since then, you've become the engineer for all the luminaries of folk and bluegrass. Just such an incredible history of recording you've done.
I'm still having fun.
Good. Well, how many recordings have you done for, various artists? I know do you even know?
I really don't know. Craig Duncan and I figured out that I've done 100 albums with him.
Whew.
And we just started our 101st album together.
Oh,
and I was with Jerry Douglas last week, and we were trying to figure out how many albums I'd done with him, but I don't know.
Yeah. And you've worked with all the artists pretty much from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So,
Yes. Yeah. I've worked with, I guess, all of them that were on the album, yes.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Mm-hmm. So,
but then I knew Emmy Lou when she was coming up through the ranks in Washington, D.C., when she would fill in for a girl by the name of Liz Meyer, when she would have throat problems. And a guitar player by the name of Danny Gatton played in Liz Meyer's band.
And have you known Danny Gatton for a long time?
Yeah. Since I was about 17, I guess.
17?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you were living in D.C. at that time, right?
Yes. I grew up in Northern Virginia.
Right.
And D.C. was a hotbed for music. Roy Buchanan was much older, and he played the Crossroads Lounge in D.C.
Wow.
But Danny played a lot, not only in his band, but he played with Liz. And he's the guy that did the legendary guitar solo on Orange Blossom Special.
Oh, yeah.
That shut down a festival in Watermelon Park for about an hour because the people were rushing in when he was doing the solo, and the guy that owned the festival couldn't take the tickets fast enough. So he got on the stage and he says, "If y'all hippies, God darn it, I'm going to lock y'all up. I'm not getting paid." It was great. And I was doing the sound.
Yeah. Well, I should mention we were going to have Stanley Jordan on today, but he's got involved in a project. He's doing some just incredible things with computer systems, mathematics, music, the solar system, unbelievable stuff. And he got involved with that. And so we pushed him to 2 weeks from now, March 1st. And
cool.
So, be sure to do that. And I'm so glad that you were able to jump in and join me today, because I just have been wanting to talk with you for a long time.
Well, I got my refs done today of a project last week, and it's snowing, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, since you're at your studio, I was thinking about having you do the little whip thing for the sleigh ride and maybe play some bells. But we do have a bit of a lag, I think, between the two of us. It might make it a little awkward.
Yeah.
So, as a studio engineer, you know that. Yeah. So,
but then we've done quite a few shows together, All-Star Guitar Nights, and
yes,
I'm in and over the years.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you coming in and being the sound engineer and tech for the All-Star Guitar Nights so many times, from the shows we did at the Ryman Auditorium to the ones at the Third and Lindsley. So it's been just invaluable to have you there and balance the sound for us and make sure things go right on stage,
Yeah. I was doing a lot of stage. I think, hanging out with Les Paul and Scotty Moore, who was the guy that got me my job with Marty Robbins, recommended me to be Marty Robbins' chief engineer. He walked up and he goes, "Chet's here somewhere." Mm-hmm. And so I got Chet and Scotty together, and they sat there for hours and talked about old times. Yeah.
Well, let's say hello to a couple people who say, Chris Monaghan Music says he's a big fan of yours, Bill. And Tull fan says, good evening from snowy Scotland. I guess snowy there, too.
Wow.
Michael Robbins says, hey. And Tova Rainsong says, hi. And there's also snow in Billingham. Boy, there's snow a lot of places. We've certainly hit it.
I love Scotland. I've spent quite a bit of time there.
Oh, great. Well, you've also charity that you're on the board of. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm the advisory council for Playing for Change. That they have schools for children in different parts of the world. But the main thing is they put artists together in different nations to sing on popular songs, and then make videos of it, and then they stream them around the world. And it brings the whole world together. It's the first time I think the world's come together in music.
I've seen some of those. They're incredible.
They are.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can have some guys from the Stones and Ringo Starr and some country guys and some pop guys and some blues guys and some classical people. I mean, Yo-Yo even gets in there on the cello once in a while.
Wow. If you haven't seen these Playing for Change videos, you should go check them out. They're on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we have the director for Playing for Change actually standing by. Maybe we'll put Jake on the screen here. Let's see if he's here. Oh, there he is. Hey, Jake.
Hello.
Hey,
hi.
Jake.
How's it going?
Fine.
Great.
Good.
Well, we really appreciate what you do, and what a big project to put together those Playing for Change videos.
Yeah, those videos really help bring people together all across the world. When you get to bring people who are at the top of the musician game that we consider the best of the best, and put them along the people who are also the best of the best, but might be playing on the street in the middle of Bangladesh, and they get to play on the same song together. It really shows that we're all just musicians, and I think that's what a lot of them strive for. Is they want to be considered musicians first and not a celebrity artist, but the chance just to play alongside anyone that is at that same level of talent is really magical to see. And we've managed to use those videos to then build these schools, and we have currently 16 schools in 13 different countries around the world. And they're art schools for kids that really don't really have much, really rich cultures, but not a lot of money or schooling. And we try to fill the gap and provide a future for those kids, thousands a week right now. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the videos, but it wasn't until I was talking to Bill that I found out really what you do in addition to making these fantastic products, these things that make you feel good when you watch them, these videos. So that's really encouraging. So that's why we chose you to be the recipient of our grant from Music for Life Alliance. And the All-Star Guitar Night and some of my shows and my Acoustic Chef book all helped to fund that. And we're glad that you received the check in the mail.
Yes, yes, we did. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mariel, and the Music for Life Alliance. It was unexpected and just an absolutely lovely gift, and couldn't be more grateful. And know that those funds go to just help kids in need around the world. So it's really a spectacular thing to do.
Great, right. Well, I'm glad that we've found out about you and the extent of what you do through Bill.
Yes.
And so it's
Bill's been an incredible advocate for us, and actually has helped even secure some artists for videos. We just did a big event with the United Nations that he was actually an integral part of. So we're always extremely grateful for Bill and being involved in the organization. And this is just another great example of how he helps advance everything we do.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay, talk about after COVID slows down.
Yeah.
Playing for Change has events all over the world.
That's right.
Where people in neighborhoods put on concerts.
Yeah.
To help the children.
Absolutely. I mean, each school becomes integral to its own community. So there's concerts constantly going at those schools. In addition to this Playing for Change band that tours constantly, and then we have events, and galas and concerts throughout the whole year. So as soon as we get back to a normal life, hopefully everyone can tap into a live event involving Playing for Change.
Yeah, because people in different cities, there could be 10 people in a city who have a backyard event.
That's right.
As a fundraiser.
That's right.
And they get the community together. It's just so cool.
Well, that's great. I'll put one of your links on my Now page. I have a regular links page that should be linked under the videos here, murielanderson.com/now, where I have various upcoming live streams and such. And I'll link one of your Playing for Change videos after the show there.
That would be lovely. Thank you so much.
People are looking for where to find that, they can go ahead and find it right afterwards. So this is just a brief hello, as we're saying, and let's have another hi from Aline, who says, hey. And let's see. I wanted to ask Bill and you, how did you and Jake find each other? How did you become involved with the Playing for Change?
I had known someone on the board, and I'm involved in a lot of different organizations in the United Nations, and she asked me if I would like to get involved and told me about it. But I was already aware of it, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm always, available to help, especially children. I'm a Shriner. I'm the only Shriner in Nashville with a ponytail.
Yeah. Yes.
The rest of them are kind of clean cut.
I see. Well, I want to thank our volunteers also, John Wise and Al Norton with the Music for Life Alliance, who've made that a reality. And so I couldn't do anything without their work. So they are the actual hands doing this and making everything turn. And so really appreciate that as you do for the Playing for Change. So I'll say hey and come back to just Bill, and thanks again, Jake, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
Later, Jake.
Thank you. Thanks. So, Bill, I was also trying to remember how we met. Now, was it through Sandy Towers, or was it through Chet Atkins that we met?
It might be through Chet, because I've known Chet since I was like 19.
Yes, that's probably it. He's been just a pivotal person in so many things, so many connections in my life and many others.
Oh yeah, I mean it was. As a teenager, I collected his records, and then a guy from RCA brought me down to Nashville when I was 19 from DC. Before the interstates, so it took like 24 hours to drive here. And Chet Atkins, the afternoon of the first day I was here, I met him, and we went to lunch, and every time I came down, he wanted to make sure that I would check in, because I came down as a songwriter, and I signed songs to Cedarwood Publishing Company, which was right there across from CBS building. And Chet got to be friends, and when he would come up to Washington, D.C., I would meet him, like at Wolf Trap, for dinner before the show. He helps so many people,
so many, yeah.
So many people.
Yeah, I remember I was playing a tune for my mandolin teacher up in Evanston, Illinois. I was taking mandolin lessons from Jethro Burns, and I was working out this arrangement of Nola. And Jethro said, "Oh, you got to meet my brother-in-law, Chet Atkins." And so it was through him that I got the first introduction. And after Chet's concert at the Orchestra Hall, he invited me to come by it. And the first time I met him, I said, well, I learned a song note for note from your album. And I really hadn't discovered Chet's music yet. I just had, one album, and I'd learned Wheels. So I played it all the way through. He sat there and he said, "Oh, that's very nice. I play it like this. I put a capo on the second fret and I tune it down like this." So I had learned it completely wrong. And he didn't say anything. Actually, this guitar is tuned to that already. So he played it like this, when all of a sudden it was a whole lot easier and sounded a whole lot better. And so now we're in the key of G instead of A. told Chet, I say, "Oh, that's about the greatest thing I've ever heard." It just, it was amazing. And he said, "Well, I'll play you some tunes. I'll send you some tunes that you can play for your hotel gig." Because I was just playing background music in a hotel at that time, and I didn't think it would actually happen. But a few weeks later, he sent me a tape of all tunes he'd recorded for me in his basement. And a lot of those tunes I recorded on my first album, the Heartstrings album, first solo album. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Well, think of all the dreams of all the people that he helped.
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to be a song called Dream Maker.
Yes. There may be, but there needs to be one specifically for Chet.
Specifically for
Yes,
Chet.
yeah. Well,
because he, coming down 2 or 3 times a year, he'd have lunch or dinner. He's the one that told me about Belmont starting a program in music business, and he invited me. He said, I'll help you get in if you come down. So I did.
Wow. So that was a great thing to be part of that.
Matter of fact, he went and drove me after lunch, and we stopped by Belmont and took me in to meet the guy, Bob Malloy, who was heading the program, and said, "This is the boy I want to help get in here." And Bob pretty much said, "Chet, if you want him here, he's here." So.
Yeah, well, that's why there is a club called the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society.
Yep.
And it's for people who really appreciate him in so many ways.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. So that's great.
But people just don't, they maybe look at him differently. He was just so down to earth and kind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and also had a unique sense of humor. That
yes.
Yes, he always had one foot in the ground in which he was raised in. And I remember the one time, some of you may have heard this already, but I went to his office, and usually he comes down the stairs and says, "Here, Muriel, here's a song you can learn." Well, this time he came down the stairs and he said, "Muriel, I've got a gig for you." Now, this was a big deal for me. I mean, I wasn't playing concerts yet, so I thought it was some great big concert or something. And he said, "Well, what it is my pet rooster, Hotshot, has got a case of the feather mites. And I was going to ask little Jimmy Dickens, but you just happened in here, and you're about the smallest person I know. So my wife and I were just too big to crawl into that chicken coop." So then I went over to the Atkins home for the first time. I'd only been to the office. And Chet's wife, Leona, got a plastic garbage bag and cut holes for my head and my arms. And sure enough, I had to crawl into that little door of the chicken coop and catch the rooster by both legs at once with one hand, and the other hand you grab his neck at the same time. So that's the only way to get him. And so, this was something new for a girl from Chicago coming down for guitar lessons. But I got the rooster, and Leona spread bacon grease on the rooster's neck for the mite dust to adhere to. And afterwards, she invited me to join them for lunch. Threw a little more water into the stew, and that was my big gig for Chet.
The Copper Kettle down on Belmont.
Yes.
Was one of his favorite places, in Haptowns and Arnolds.
Yes. Yes, I remember going to Arnold's with Chet before. He liked that place because there wasn't anything on the menu that was more than one digit.
Yes.
Yes. You could get meat and 3, and it would all be $9 and something or less. And so that's where he would take.
And he had that one table there. The same thing at Haptowns.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know he had a special table.
And Roy Acuff ate there a lot. He would join in too.
Wow. Well, those were the days. How do you think that Nashville has changed and Music Row has changed, the whole music scene?
When I was coming up through the ranks, you could go in and meet anybody. You could walk in to the office and they would see you. They might, if you didn't have an appointment, they would say hi and they would set up a time for you to come back if they were busy. but there wasn't any body that wouldn't say hi to you or meet with you. Now all the doors are closed to the young writers and the young artists, where back then you could walk in with a guitar and they'd have you sing a song.
Yeah. So you don't have to make a great big fancy demo. You can just do it live right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because there are just so many young artists now that it would flood the doors.
I don't think it. Well, there weren't that many, I guess, back then. But
it would be nice to feel that kind of friendship and camaraderie again in the music scene.
Yes. I mean, if you want to know the people on Music Row, you don't have a hard time getting an appointment and stuff. But it's unfortunately the young ones that are coming up through the ranks. It takes them so many years now to be able to get through those doors. And if anybody wants to, there's a lot of different organizations that you can join. You can join NARIS. You can join the different publishing, the Nashville Publishing Network, and be able to get familiar with different people. You can join the Country Music Association. You can join the Bluegrass Music Association, the Gospel Music Association, Americana Music Association, and show up for the events and meet people.
Okay, so there are ways that we are trying to bring that back, I think, through those. So that's great to hear. So it's, I
mean, it's like maybe $100 at the most to join those organizations. And if you join 2 or 3 of them and you go to the events, you'll meet people.
Yeah. Well, I am certainly looking forward to the time that we can walk in the door for real and and meet up with people, more freely again. And I'm feeling that we're going to regain some of that that feeling that we had way back in those days. Where there was where there were open doors.
Any different? I used to take the train when I was in high school up to New York in the summertime and pitch songs in the Brule building. And if you waited outside, they would see you.
Yeah.
They were crazy not to, because they didn't know if you had their next hit song or not.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Bill, it's been great to have you here. And I wanted to finish off this little segment with a preview of one of our Acoustic Sailing episodes. So Brian has been working on editing together our days over the summer where we sailed up to Maine and just had a lovely time. And that was another time where it was really uplifting, and it felt like life was good and normal again for that time. So I wanted to invite you to join us with that at the end. And if you want to see the whole episode, you can go ahead and look for Acoustic Sailing. If it doesn't pop right up on your YouTube, just put in my name with Acoustic Sailing, and you should see it. So here's a little preview from one of the recent episodes, and I'll put it full screen here.
This is beautiful Monhegan Island, our first landfall after leaving New York a week ago. Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Muriel, and together we are Acoustic Sailing. So hop on board for some serene summer days under sail.
There's the first mate steering us toward our next anchorage, like this one at Pleasant Island.
We'll row ashore and explore. Boy, too bad I didn't bring the scissors. I could have trimmed that mop of yours, Brian. But this is a beautiful place to compose a tune. Later on, we'll find some spontaneous moments to play some music ashore.
So come join us and let us take you on an extended sailing sabbatical. Well,
that was fun, kind of bringing us back to those times. And
That looks great.
it was wonderful. Well, great to have you all join us, and great to have you join us, Bill. And next week, I'm going to be in Florida filming a new course for True Fire. And I'm going to have the masterminds behind the True Fire as my special guests, Brad and Allie, and we'll be live there in the studio. So you'll join us at the same time next week, and the following week we'll have Stanley Jordan as well. So
please tell them I said hi.
Oh, I will. They're great. Yes. All right, and so are you. So thanks so much.